Hey, what is up, spiritual hooligan? Let me ask you a question. Do you want to go after your dreams, your ideas, but you get stopped by the fear of failure? Is that drunk monkey in your head premeditating that you're going to fail, it's not going to work, you're going to be embarrassed, you aren't going to look good, you're going to lose status, you shouldn't even try, other people are better than you? I'd like to welcome you to the unconscious reflex called avoiding failure. And this is something that the drunk monkey is doing automatically. And if you don't remove the underlying motivation of the hidden motives to survive, you'll still get those feelings, even though you may work on trying to overcome them on a regular basis. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. My name is Matthew Ferry, and I am bringing you your daily enlightenment. It's your moment to pause, to slow down, to get connected to enlightened perspectives. I want to help you to quiet your mind and restore your peace. So the drunk monkey has these automatic activities. The drunk monkey is that talking in your head, and I've been talking about it now. I think this is video number 22, maybe, of talking about the drunk monkey in this series. But the drunk monkey automatically talks. So you can't suppress it. You can't reprogram it. You can't affirm it. You can, right? And it'll have some effect. But for the most part, you'll get redirected right back into these negative ways of thinking, these fearful ways of thinking. And what there is to do is to release or remove the underlying motivation. And the motivation for your thinking is survival. So we're not going to talk exactly about that today. My objective is to get you familiar with this idea of avoiding failure. Let's talk about the problem, okay? So the problem is that your reward is going to be proportionate to your risk. So if there's no risk, there's no reward. And the drunk monkey fears risk. It fears not looking good. It fears being embarrassed. It fears being stupid. It fears disappointing your family. It fears losing status. And the drunk monkey takes it to extremes. And it'll literally in 2 or 3 thoughts take you all the way down to the worst case scenario. And it does that on purpose. It's trying to move you in the direction of taking action to maintain your homeostasis, to maintain your status quo. Now, the effect of this is that it limits your resourcefulness, because when you're going into an avoiding state, rather than a for state, right? So there's for the thing that I want, or there's avoiding the thing that I don't want. And what happens a lot of times is those get blurred and connected together. And when you're fearing failure, what happens is it narrows your focus. You're going into a survival state. So your system naturally says, be aware of this, don't get hurt by it, do anything possible to avoid it. And that shuts out all of the other possibilities. You're not open to all the answers and the creativity. You become rigid, you become inflexible, you become unwilling to try new things, and you get stuck in a rut. Now, like I said, the cause of all this is an unconscious reflex called avoiding failure. It's something that the drunk monkey does automatically. And you know that you have this unconscious reflex running because oftentimes you get real lazy. You do the easy thing rather than the hard thing. You go into avoidance behaviors. And you start to go into victim states, like, why can't it be easy? You start forecasting the negative. I don't want to have all of this hard stuff. Or maybe you go the other direction, right? Maybe you're like, I need to conquer this. So you do more coaching, more training. You try to take action and take more risk, but you're doing it on top of the feeling of fear and uncertainty. And I just want you to understand something. None of that addresses the underlying motivation. And the underlying motivation is to survive. And unless you release the underlying motivation to survive, you'll never connect with your true inspiration. And inspiration is provided with inspiration, I was about to say the one for motivation. Inspiration is filled with the spirit to do something. Motivation is provided with a motive for action. And that motive is either pain or pleasure. Now, motivation is fantastic if you're in survival. Motivation essentially takes into account that humans in the past haven't been that intelligent. I want you to take that in. Motivation takes into account that humans in the past have lacked information, they've lacked understanding and consciousness, they've been in various degrees of ignorance, and therefore providing them with a motive, an instinctive motive to take action, was really, really successful. Look at what we have in the world. Look at this. Look at the incredible things that you're experiencing. So much of that came out of motivation. But we're in a place now where our basic needs are taken care of. And what there is to do is to release your relationship to motivation and connect with inspiration. Become filled with the spirit to do something. But here's the problem. The drunk monkey believes that the status quo is more comfortable than the unknown. So the drunk monkey sets life up to be very, very rigid. It doesn't want a lot of unknowns. You're very routined in the way that you operate. If you look at how you operate as a human being, you limit the amount of things that you expose yourself to generally, right? Now, I understand who you are. So you're going to be someone who's pushing yourself to expose yourself to more. But I just want you to notice how there's so many things that are routine in your life, and it's about maintaining the status quo. The drunk monkey fears taking risks. The drunk monkey declares failure bad. And it's on the lookout for how things will not work. We've talked about it in the past. The drunk monkey thinks it's psychic, that it can predict the future, and it can't. The future is unknown. So what I want you to do today is I want you to do an experiment. I want you to take something that you have been fearing failure with. I don't know if that's the right language to say, but some place that you've been fearing failure. And I want you to run an experiment. I want you to think like a scientist. So you don't know if you're going to fail, and you don't know if you're going to succeed. Anything that you say you know is a lie because you haven't done it. And even if you've done it in the past, the conditions have changed. And therefore, your chances, your odds have changed as well. And what there is to do is to put your best foot forward. Conduct an experiment just like a scientist. You don't know if it's going to happen or not. And then if you succeed, terrific. If you fail, terrific. You take the information that you received from the failure and you put that into your consideration set and you do what a scientist did. It's like, oh, okay, that didn't work. Now what? Okay, that didn't work. What did I learn from that? How do I shift it? How do I change it? So what will you do an experiment on today? What have you been fearing failure with? And how will you conduct an experiment? I want to know. Leave me a comment about what you're going to conduct an experiment on. My name is Matthew Ferry, author of Quiet Mind, Epic Life. And I would love it if you would like this daily enlightenment. If you would share it with your fellow spiritual hooligans, people you think it would make a difference for. I would love it if you would leave me a comment. Those things tell these big platforms, hey, this is something that we should serve up to other people. I also would be very grateful for you to subscribe to my channel if my message calls to you, because I put out a new daily enlightenment every single day. And then I also would love for you to come and join us in the Spiritual Hooligan Facebook group. Thank you so much for tuning into this daily enlightenment.